So, we're gonna start by explaining a little bit about myself. So, nerd by design. I'm in a bit of a strange company here. I'm a computer scientist, and so I know a little bit about that. I've learned something about the construction industry, picking up from guys like Jukka and Andy during the almost 30 years I've been with the company. But I'm a very odd guy. I've been in the same company, in the same unit for 28 and a half years now, which is a bit weird in IT. Anyway, so started with Tekla, and then we've been part of Trimble since 2011, and I've been leading the technology unit for almost 20 years now. And I always get involved in technology very early on. So, as an example, when I was a student, me and a couple of my colleagues, we worked on a web browser that was commissioned by Tim Berners-Lee in 91 and 92. And there were 5 web servers in the world when we started. And when we did the final demo in 92, there were maybe 30. Now there are a few more, maybe, I don't know, 1,000, million, I don't know, 100 million. There's a lot. And lately, for the last 5 to 6 years, I've been involved in mixed reality quite a lot, or one of my side hobbies. So I'm actually pursuing a PhD in usability. I think there's a lot of work to do there. But that's about me. One slide about Trimble. So Trimble, we turned 40 years last year. So we founded in 1978 when the first GPS satellites were launched. So Trimble was all about positioning and about hardware accuracy back in those days, a hardware company mostly. And then we started going into more devices, scanners, total stations, things like that, optics, communication, still quite a lot about hardware. Then we realized at some point there was a new CEO. Software is where the future is. Software scales. We still need the hardware aspect, but anyway. So that's kind of, it started moving towards productivity, and lately more and more towards integrated work processes. So that's what I'm gonna talk to you about, and I never do a presentation without live demos, so may the demo gods be with me. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about, so how many of you have heard about or are using Connect at the moment? I see a few hands. Excellent. Hopefully we have a bit more hands next time. So anyway, so what Trimble Connect is all about, it's about transforming decision making. Bringing your information from the office to the field and back, communicating between different disciplines and so on. Have your data available on any device. So be it desktop, a laptop like I have here, a smartphone, a HoloLens, a VR headset, and maybe in the future a brain implant. Let's see. So what Trimble Connect is, kind of very simply, it's an open collaboration tool that connects people and data at the right time. That's it. Thank you. Oh, no, I'm going to continue. But anyway, so it's very powerful because we deal with constructible models, and it just shows the complexity of the rebars detailing we do, the steel detailing, a lot of nuts and bolts. We detail everything. It needs to be so accurate that you can construct from it. That's basically the message. So it needs to be a powerful platform. So that gives us also, it has to be productive, which means that your data needs to be up to date, uploaded, downloaded automatically. It needs to be fast. You don't want to wait for half an hour for your next version, or worst case scenario, 1 week to get a really large project updated. We've heard about projects like that, but hopefully we can avoid that. We do projects around the world. So here's an example of a project, I think in the UK, Hinkley, and it's a massive project. And one of the goals is to get rid of drawings. That has been kind of the mission of Tekla back in the days, taking the world from 2D to 3D, modeling in 3D. But of course, we still produce the drawings, which means that sometimes it leads to mistakes. People have to interpret the drawings, they have to go through all of the annotations, make sure that they are right. But still, mistakes happen, and then it leads to other problems, delayed projects and so on, that Jukka was talking about in his presentation. But one of the things, so everything here in this project is modeled in 3D and then brought to the field in full 3D. The drawings are still there, of course, but we also have access to the rich information. So as I said, we want to have the data available on all platforms, not just the desktop, not just the web, because we believe that the right tool for the right job. Sometimes it's good to have a really powerful desktop machine or gaming laptop that I have when you want to view really large models in really high visual quality. Sometimes it's really handy to have a web browser, because then, like my colleague on Tuesday, Ray Bagley, who is the product director for Trimble Connect, he borrowed a colleague's machine and he did his Connect presentation, including live demos, with a borrowed machine using the web. And then, of course, on the site, we probably do not want to lug a heavy laptop with us, or we might want to have a tablet or a mobile phone. Actually, most people have a mobile phone with them. And then we also might not have connectivity, so we want to have our data available offline. And then, going into the future, I mean, all the devices I talked about so far has been about what I call flat 3D. So it's 3D, but it's displayed on a flat screen. So you don't really understand the sizes, how big is this in real life, unless you look at the measurements, for example. So in the future, hopefully, we'll have a full 3D experience through smart glasses like the HoloLens. We are very early in that stage, but we have done some, what I think is our market-leading augmented reality solutions already. And then all the data available in the cloud, but also offline, which I think is important. So we don't lock your data into the cloud, but it's also available for download. You have the original files, you have your IFCs, DWGs, and so on. So the data sharing, everything starts with a project in Connect, then you have your team. So we have a regular kind of folder structure. People are used to the folders from Windows and from the Mac. So that's how we have been organizing our data for 30 years or more now. So we are just using that, that's familiar. But then we have file versioning. So if there's a new version, we automatically store the previous version and you can go back to it. So you can see how things have progressed and compare what has changed. Uploads and downloads, inviting users. So this is all about connecting people. And then when we are starting to see, let's say we are hundreds or thousands of people on a project, then you want to organize into smaller teams and groups. You might want to share some permissions with people, that some people just have read access. There might be some areas that you want to restrict, like early design. We don't want to give that to everybody, because then someone might start to do some detailing based on designs that are not final. So we can do this in a very coordinated way. We have a 2D viewer, so we will have the 2D for a very long time. It's not going away. But we're hoping to bring more and more 3D into the mix as we go along. So we do both. We have clashes, to-dos. So the to-dos are for the process. You can assign a task to someone, you detect the clash, you can assign that to one or multiple people, and then you can work with that, and those to-dos are synchronized through the cloud to the different clients. And then there's a lot of other associated data, links to documents. You get email notifications, you can see an activity feed, and there's quite a lot of functionality, even though we're trying to keep it as simple as possible so that it's easy. So I talked a little bit about that. You can see everything that has happened in the project, so you know if someone accidentally deleted something, we can actually we can get that information back. So it's not like, if you accidentally delete a folder, that's no problem. We have available, you can undo your actions. Then, as I said, for BIM viewing, it's quite powerful. So we can combine multiple model types, and it's not just Tekla or Trimble. We use standard formats like IFC or LandXML. We work with Revit, so we have created a plugin for Revit to export data from Revit into Trimble Connect. SketchUp, which is our format, but also kind of then the de facto standards like DWG, DXF, DGN, and so on. And some of the older standards like STEP and IGES. So one powerful thing when you combine 2D and 3D, so one of the things you can do, and that our customers are doing, is that they are aligning the 2D drawings with the 3D, which means that you get your perfect annotations with the model. You don't have to do manual measurements. You have all the measurements in your 3D model, and that's pretty powerful. Then I talked a little bit already about to-dos. Another basic concept of Connect is the views. So if you have a complex model, you have found a problem and you want someone else to have a look at it. If they're not in the same room or in the same office, what you can do is then you create a view, you share that, you might assign it to someone, and he can then click on that view or the to-do, and then it loads the model or the model combination of models that shows the problem, and then you get the camera is placed exactly where it should be. And it can be on a mobile device, it can be on your tablet or on your PC or in the web. Then of course there's so we have the beautiful 3D model, but there's actually a lot of associated data to that as well. So you can attach anything to an object. So there's, if you want to have a PDF there, go ahead. If you want to have an image, some site picture, that's all good. And then it's attached to the project and placed in context. So one of the we have been talking about in Trimble buildings about the 3 C's. So Constructible being one of them, connected, which is what I'm dealing with here a lot, but also with Constructible, and then content is the third part. So content being things like our MEP, mechanical, electric, plumbing warehouses. We have millions of objects in those warehouses ready for consumption with rich information. So when you combine all of these 3 C's, you get a very powerful concept. We worked with great customers all over the world. And then all of this, so kind of Constructible, connected, and content enabled, that is what forms the Trimble Constructible process. So start with estimating. We have data that is accurate enough that you can do field work based on it, so you don't limit the amount of rework. We can use historical data to improve future performance because you have full access to your data. And content that you can reuse. And then with all of this, you can reduce a lot of risks in your project. And then the real-time collaboration aspect of the open data. So here's an example, just a screenshot. So let's see how much time I have for demos. Oh, I have plenty of time. Excellent. I love to do demos. So anyway, here's an example of object linking. and we have some assembly drawings, single part drawings connected to an object, so that then when you click on that object you get that list. So you export that from Tekla structures into Connect, and then you get access. When you click on the beam, you will get all of the relevant drawings. And you can have them as PDFs. The industry seems to love PDFs still. Here's another example of the connected and constructible. So Tekla EPM, which is used to be Power Fab. So basically what you use in the steel shop for construction. We have now connected that with Trimble Connect, and you can see what needs to be fabricated next, what's the status of things, and an example of that. Then you can say this has been fabricated, this is coming up next, this is already on the site, things like that, and this has been assembled. So you have like full view into your project, and you can see it as 3D. But Jukka will talk more about this in his presentation going forward. And then, as I mentioned, we also do 2D, but we're trying to bring the industry into the 3D world and into the full mixed reality world, but we need to take it one step at a time. But okay, let's do a little bit of demos. And I have high confidence in our platform, so I actually prepared my demos while Jukka, and I know all of their stuff. I've heard the presentations many times, so I wasn't being rude, I was just being effective. So let's start with basic view into Trimble Connect. Well, actually, let's start from the very basics. So to get access to this, you go to connect.trimble.com, and then you can try it for free. So you can, I think, use it for one project. You can invite up to 4 or 5 users, try out the collaboration, the model viewing, the different tools, mobile, desktop, web, and if you find it good, then you can go into different subscriptions, or if you're an enterprise, there's like things for that as well. But anyway, so as I've already have access to this, I sign in using Trimble Identity, which is kind of the identity we can use for all Trimble products. And if we don't have, I was hitting our North America server, so the data was coming over the Atlantic. But anyway, so we have actually multiple pods. If you need to have your data inside Europe, we have a European pod, in North America one, and then also in Asia. And then we actually cache data closer to you. So we have node servers because these models can be quite large when you put in all the details. So let's have a look at the Connect demo project. And so we start with the Explorer. So this is basically where all the data lives. We have some 2D CAD backgrounds, a DWG. Let's not go into the 2D world though. And so here's basically where you have all of your data, the files. Then I mentioned the views. So here are some views that have been defined, and you can see who did the last change to it. And then you can create something called releases. Let's see if there are any releases in this one. Well, in this demo project they haven't done it, but basically you can kind of, when you have a point of time in your project, then you can pack that together as a release that you can then get back to it. So let's say that you have a phase 1, phase 2, and the release basically makes it really easy to get back to the previous phases, so it remembers which version of which model was in this release. Then we have the activity feed. Let's see. Okay, so the last thing that happened was actually yesterday. I downloaded a PDF, so all the activity, and because I'm not an admin, I can only see my own activity. If I'm an admin, then I can see everything that is happening in the project. But for now, it's just what I have been doing, so I can see what has been going on. So I've actually been hitting this project quite a lot. Oh, and the reason was that I was actually synchronizing the whole project to my desktop in case we wouldn't have network connectivity. Then I could still show you something. Then we have the to-do concept, and actually Ray Bagley, during his live demo on his colleague's machine, showed how to create a to-do, and then he assigned that to me. This beam is wrong. So let's have a look at what's going on there. I think I have to reassign it to Jukka though, because I have, as I said, I'm a computer scientist, so I don't know this stuff. So now we are loading the steel frame of Museum of the Future. It's a 263 megabyte IFC file originally, and we're actually hitting the US server. So it might take a while, and if it takes too long, then I have it up and running already. But let's see a real case scenario. Well, that wasn't too bad. I think I could have hold my breath for the loading time. That is my measurement of speed. When I start to turn blue in a demo, then you know that something has gone wrong. Anyway, so he had selected the beam that he thought is wrong, and yeah, well, I have no idea. Is it wrong or not? It isn't, but we just did this for demo. And as you can see, all of the information is available here. So, and as you can see, this is a Tekla model. It has the Tekla quantity, Tekla common, base quantities. How many Tekla users do we have in the audience, by the way? Oh, lovely. A lot. Great. So, how many Revit users? Now I think I'll see all hands. No? Okay. Yeah, you need the Constructible model. Yeah, no, we love Revit as well, as I said. This is an example I was doing during the demo. I had a simple Revit model, exported it with the file uploader into Trimble Connect, into a project. I can just go back to that. But anyway, so what else? Oh, yeah, I mentioned the team concept. And I was just looking that, so I got invited on Tuesday during the demo, and as I said, I need Jukka Suomi to figure this one out, because I have like no idea about what the problem might be. And as I'm only a user, I cannot make him an admin. So let's invite him, maybe he will contribute something cool back. So now he'll get an email that he's been invited to this project. He can open it up on his mobile phone and help me out. Okay, what else? I think that was pretty much like the basic concepts of Trimble Connect. We're going to go back to some of the viewing capabilities still of this. Well, okay, so here was actually the Revit model that I had exported. So as you can see, November 21 is when it was created, so we don't have the exact time, but it was, I think, during Jukka's presentation. But I think it's, and there's only one version of this file, so if I would do multiple uploads of the same file, then we could see the revisions, and then we could actually go back in time and see how this has changed. Let's see where we are. Okay, so I'm actually gonna switch over to another project, and I'm gonna use another interface to this. So I'm gonna show you real quick how we can combine data. And one important aspect, it has actually been in Trimble Connect, so one thing that is quite important is that, oh, okay, well, it showed up anyway, so ignore, it didn't do a conversion, but that's okay. So what we are seeing here is I'm streaming in a point cloud from the cloud, and this is actually the Trimble headquarters in Finland for another 1.5 years. The point cloud is from the city of Espoo. It's about 25 billion points. It's 1 terabyte of data originally, and it runs quite nicely in the browser. Because I'm now hitting it the first time from here, it's not cached at all, so everything came live. The next time, now when I zoom around here, then everything is cached already, so then it will be really fast. What else? Oh, let's go to the desktop client. So as I said, all the projects so in the desktop we can actually load the projects from all of the different nodes. So I have North America, Europe, and Asia, or I can just filter down to just the North American projects. So this was the project that we were looking at. You can see the same ToDo is here. This BIM is wrong. But I'm actually going to go to our European server now and show you a couple of things. My future presentation is so long, so I'm actually going to show some of the demos that I intended for that now. And one of them is, well, just that we can do. Let's switch to this one, go to point, so same point cloud data, but now I'm switching to local content. So as I said, we can do online, offline. So this is the same 25 billion point cloud, but now it's stored on my local hard drive. So I have a 2 terabyte drive, and actually we packed this into about 400 gigabytes. So so now you can see the speed is like, and you can't really tell a difference. Is this, and let's turn off the eye-down lightning. So now you don't really know, is this an aerial photo or a point cloud? It's so dense. So we bring in tens of millions of points on this screen. If I would run this on a 4K screen, it would be over 100 million points. And with a proper graphics card, we can run this at 60 frames a second. So with this, you can place your models in context. So let's see if I had. I'm actually gonna close down a few of these. So I have a lot of different model types here. Let's hit that one, my favorite model. Because I think I have this in place. Okay, so now I've placed the stadium model from Azerbaijan, the Baku Olympic Stadium. And when we zoom closer, so I placed it in the middle of a golf field. As you can see, this is the Constructible model. It has every nut and bolt in there. And all the information, all the attributes. And basically, again, no need to breathe while doing this. And then one last thing before we go for the coffee break. So we love visual models. So I'm just going to show you something real quick. I'll go to the civil side of things. And let's take this model. So this is a road model coming from Quadri, from the civil side of things. And let's, oh yeah. Okay, so this is now kind of very BIM-like. But what if we would like to see this in a bit more? Let's make a visual out of this. So I hit this button, then it launches the Trimble Connect visualizer. And what this is basically is a visualization engine based on a gaming engine. So now we have things like real-time shadows, material mapping, textures, and everything in real time running at, well, on this gaming laptop, it can run at over 100 frames a second. Then you can put a skybox around it to kind of put it into context. Rotate the skybox. Then you can do things like create really quickly an animation, so you can kind of create viewpoints in the model, like this, and then zoom out a little bit. This will be a very ugly demo now, but so anyway, and from this you can record a quick demonstration of your project. You don't have to spend hours or days on creating a nice visualization of what you're doing. I mean, with the skybox it doesn't fit, but LinkedIn is already full of posts of our customers doing really beautiful stuff and really quickly. So quick that you can do it live on stage. But with that, I thank you. I want to have you get some coffee